was here for smart Ghana update and I'm here mobile aquaba message and come ebedi odo comment beba or comment section no me na na Kofi Jessica pan ebedi nkomo efa US omo reporter omo dey aba omo chese Ghana 2021 report about April year 2021 report about human rights omo chese Ghana human rights no ma bi won ma yanya de won kra yetieti nipa fa hodie so kwan bi so omo kan ya kosi se Ghana lawyers mranifo nyina eka ho a chese bribe ne nsensem bi a omo ye ema nipa bi anka yesi yedi o masem krampo no na yebu yenye gu so ama nipa no ahwe ne nkwa eno wa bebre ena omo ka fa Ghana ho efa Ghana security ho omo chese Ghana security e fom pa nti ama fa hodie a yesi nipa nya human rights no enwie peye se de esitie omo kan ya ama asese nipa bi a mpanifo bi aba besoso a security analyst openye efe no Adom bona wakasa a o chese US for na omo kasa na omo chese adentina yeso omo kasa e ka kropa enye silver emu ba ko ni US na ye ka kura nke ni kwan so omo ka Ghana asem kura eno so ni US no no pa no odo Ghana security kura chen US eno so na oru akwaku ba ko journalist papa wakasa a o chese reporter US human rights for no edibaa no reporter edaho copy and paste copy no ma paste copy no ma paste na wakasa akan US no copy and paste yeye enyina na mpese ne ekọ tie se de osi analysis yeye no analysis no ye ba e bedi hu komo.
The current one, which is the 2021, because 2022 hasn't come out.
Yeah, because this report is for 2021.
Kwame, so you. This is the 2021. That category, denial of fair public trial. While the Constitution and law provide for an independent judiciary, the judiciary was subject to unlawful influence and corruption.
Unlawful influence and corruption.
Yes, judicial officials reportedly accepted bribes to expedite or postpone cases, loosening quotes, records, which we all know, dockets, or issue favorable rulings for the payer of the bribe. This is what is in the current report when it comes to the category of denial of fair public trial.
Yeah.
There were about 8 or 9 of the reports here. Which one? This is 2015. Now listen carefully to that category. While the Constitution and law provide for an independent judiciary, it was subject to unlawful influence and corruption. Judicial officials reportedly accepted bribes to expedite or postpone cases or to lose records. Word for word.
Yeah.
Okay. Now. Yeah.
So say template.
2014. That category. While the Constitution and law provide for an independent judiciary, the judiciary was subject to influence and corruption. Judicial officials reportedly accepted bribes to expedite or postpone cases or to lose records.
Template.
This is 2014.
So it's a template.
It's a template. That's a word for it. Which one is this? This is 2012. Kwame.
Yeah.
2012.
2012.
That category was while the Constitution and law provide for an independent judiciary, the judiciary was inefficient and subject to influence and corruption.
Copy and paste.
Ojam. So, is it that why doing there?
So it is nothing new.
No. Apart from that, the trend, not the we're profiling. and categorize that into a certain box. Into amphibia and watch the same thing about us. Is that what it is?
Of social construction.
Year 2016. The same category. Denial of fair public trial. While the Constitution and law provide for an independent judiciary, it was subject to unlawful influence and corruption. Judicial officials reportedly accepted bribes to expedite or postpone cases or to lose records. I can go on and on and on.
If I
involve them to
don't go on. Now you're beginning to sound like you're reading a hymn from the same page.
It's the same with the category of arbitrary deprivation of life and human other unlawful or politically motivated killings. This let's start with the current one.
That's the 2021.
Yes. What did they say? Also, there were few reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. Officers charged with investigating security forces killings include the special I think you had read that special investigation branch of the Ghana Armed Forces and the Police Professional Standards Bureau. And then on June 26, they give a specific
Mohammed Kaka
thing. It's stated here.
This 21.
Yeah,
this is the current report.
Yes, this is the now. This is the 2016. There were several reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. For example, in May, police in Kumasi allegedly beat a suspect to death. Now, Niniano, the government is mentioned, and they will say government or its agents. Now, say read the report into details. The specifics they give are either police or military or other security services killing civilians. But of course, they still use the word government. My understanding is that government agents.
These are agencies.
What's a government or agent?
So can we also say George Floyd was killed by government agents?
Well, you see,
the logic.
By the logic. But maybe, however, the truth of the matter, and I make a damn, I don't discredit this report.
You can learn from it.
A report that indirectly one can see one has been a beneficiary in terms of highlighting of some of our plights. For instance, the 1999, the 2000, which is the 1999 report, that was published on February 25, 2000. Echo judicial side of one. There were continued credible reports that members of the police beat prisoners and other citizens and arbitrarily arrested and detained persons. Police corruption is a problem. Prison conditions remain harsh and prolonged pre-trial detention remained a problem. Inadequate resources and a system vulnerable to political and economic influence compromise the integrity of the overburdened judicial system. The government sometimes infringed on citizens' privacy rights. The government continued to prosecute 2 criminal libel cases. In 1998, 3 independent journalists were jailed following legally flawed contempt of court cases, strengthening the perception that the judiciary operates under the influence of the executive.
Kwekubaku Harunata Baby Ansaba.
Exactly.
Who are now the late Baby Ansaba.
Exactly. In November, a journalist was sentenced to 3 months in jail and fined about $460 after being found guilty in a criminal libel case.
Ibenkwaku. The late Ibenkwaku.
And this is factual. You can debate whether the analysis that it was legally flawed or not. Only subject to debate.
Yeah.
But the fact that yes, this happened is a fact. Equal Amnesty International reports. Now we are there from the 80s. All the arrests and detentions and it's in there. The attitude is not to discredit this report. It's to study it carefully. Ask a question: why there certain trends appear to remain constant or recurrent? It's a wake-up call. Sure. There is something about yes systems no
eno ya kwa akoti aba no oru akwa kuba ko Malik o hwe na wa bempa wa study o mu pa no ho nkomo na e ba be di nfa comment bra o comment section ye ni nkomo
US for the said the era Adam bona e ka no se bi enya do se paboa bi abeka kire mo aka se bi mo yi mframa dodo a kanye ofui esanso ofui no mo to agon ama o kutu na mframa eba yi mframa se bi nka no straight o teta na asa ko kache wa afo se mo so mo pa teta de na sasem na ye dene na no kwasem ni oman bi ni ewia wo yase ana wiase we mu yeah ho ye 100% safe no way but as a bidie buru bidie so na no mo de amanya crime rate in was robe bye na US here one of them because US according to kakra yesua no almost every day obi kum obi wo ho despite say ekuru kese ani ade no but ye na ye hwe aye ta akasa mo de technology na den tinka ensasa nketi bibisa me enye me nwanwa because baby abo osona na ngoma so kuro esunsu na mu nsam do so what ase sebe ye organ ha die si akra na nsam ebeta si akra no ebi mesi bi akono wa na sepetrensa abo osona na ngoma so ade by US for ni right at all to just Ghana ni save in terms of security because more bad record if we be 2 years so say 1 year ade bani ye hu so many innocent killings ya maye ebi ni Joy Floyd
someone can make
so what I say Joy Floyd mo se match no be si na hu abone odi ye but police ni to ni koto de esi ni koma ne tiam mi wo sa anye considerate ama ni wi na no ya make us be bo so me cry mai another incident assess another black guy amokuno a police for kuno it's a more such people na some be kasa Ghana yenye say because 2021 dey bad na see ye ehu ase
take kaka
wo no court nyamfa what actually transpired there ma lead to new but kakra tete initial na more or less like a family thing abushia manson kakra che court nyamfa dey see ankasa mantia ma mentumi hu but based on evidences and answer witnesses ebeka sa na adne purely family issue so what I say to me ko site kaka because it was rubbish for somebody to think say among for I face the country you many bebrebe no ya anya omo hwe na kaka se bi anya do te adura and obi kokokunu because of face the country won some ntem na to ba bi kura na ye ko ya
kesifo na omu di animu no kura na
so what I say akasifo m di anu ye no sabi de ote sabi kura se na ye kokokunu enti na o de no site enye so what I say enti so site no na 2021 dey be biem na see ye enti no ama Ghana security is so bad and of course so a black crana wa America you are in danger because some crowd to na Ghana cop police when so train ko no nya white police asamato ba ye ha police fu a mo ha de wa ha kakra e kwan so gina fo no na nse kra so dan parent e so atwa kakra o mo gina kwan so na o dru o peso o fo so na no me kakra ya me bana kaya be butu e kai ho na te sen na come de miu na e che sen me brebe no mo ni ade so ati ase o mo na ha de kakra ba o mo aka no a se striking force ni buffalo ni ade kwa se o ho che na ugane koto o mo a look at how am pampa trying to know what is wrong with you any ade it is a Adam Bonaka say o feel safe ewo Ghana ha dan so be US a me na ya agree bebrebe because Ghana and say medical can say o man bi enya say not even Israel o say ja eye nyankopon ekuro o kra no de bi enti di makum ni di ma ya we ku 20 no we ku 200 asundwe ni ho nti no there's nowhere in this earth obetu aka sa hade a complete problem free or crime free so what I say na mo say mo ya e pop mana bejeje enya enye sebe wa atenti hotu auto na be hura tra ye yija
asama ora Adam bona e kan ye no fo aso a o chese Ghana security e ye chen US security e yamba
to some extent e yamba because unse ye no sebe enya do ye kuro no nso e wo say still police to civilian ratio no still no ye nu said the UN United Nations demand no kire no but yet all the toto ho a better and say bebrebe ya na trasi we ha no bebre na ye accident so ate ase e na mo cite judges say judges bo brebi enya were they able to prove any evidence that say case we na nketia so masin so no ya amana entia no na ebugu want to answer because baby any padoma di bia there corruption is bound to, I mean, it's likely to happen. It will be in Twinka say, Nipeko, Yomo, hey, she knew Montemana, corruption to me to some extent. We know they are going to say Ghana script because, yeah, the Anana Massa and Semi CIA ain't you. Nan Santa will be near say, a science group here, Motar ISIS near that day, Boko Haram for Bush, CBPA, no for baby. We didn't twinkle around your course for me, Doma Bakra. Tiene Ukraine na sabi yenche de mu secret ne sa
asisi akura na dampare bodjuma this one tise yebeche o musisi
so what as entino they are working but yenche de hu na secret hu nsam so yemfa nto abonte bebrebe to wan rabe fi say oh yeah
ma hope na obeti no na say
so what as na amana yo nwa ntime de to some extent na ya gane because Ghana police ko say simple cry or chi obi na so pa no so ko ni page na ko bo so why relax but broni police etu de no kotobe esi obi kwa ho amani wudi a comparing the two no metu akasa mikrom ha security for no better chain wo mo eti madam anu si men touch e papa kwaku ba ko anti ama benyu do trust no fa no kwaku document this man is very intelligent to the extent that ono mfa na no keke ne kasa maybe obaka se bia no omau evidential proof to whatever he is saying ebi na asi o we document obi ebiemu ya 2012 ade omoka was the same the same report omo ye no ebia na nasa 2016 dim ene o cheche mu on and on nti amanfo bi kwa amaju say ne neche say enya research papa bia no mo share da ye na ye cut and paste the ekra da hona na afi bia so na ye editing kakra ne ye dia befunyam but enya de omo kan ye hwe yensu ye memu ha as a country no de ne ya crime esobete men kasa crime asibetu crime asintumi ntuda because Damascus kwa sukura no ye prepare obi da ho a sofo bi du ho a otwa mu a obi be fa ho good Samaritan be fa ho gidin it tells you say crime enye or the say enya de etumi tu ase na emu ye dodoa no say be ya abonefo no omo odwene a omo say oh security in place into your hand de be farm so be ye eti de omo kan de yen kase ama nka ne ye ntine enso ya teada ana say oh ye de yemfi on because
ewura okuba akura ka say omo aboa ma ase omo timi site no ma bi omo site na boa ma so da ho so
yeah ntine onya sa maka say yampo say nyampo let's live our life making sure say baby all like improvement no ya improve ho say be ya interior and then all the other security aspect of our nation, you know, be tightened near the
judiciary,
yeah, and the judiciary, of course.
Smart Ghana update. The BBS is all share for comment, bra. Our comment session.